Thank you very much for joining me. This is Chris Kumekucha. I'm very happy to have this opportunity to discuss. Now let's get right on to it. Around the 21st of January, the former First Lady Mama Ngina had a meeting with retired President Moi in the latter's Kabarak home. This attracted quite a lot of interest because people were very curious to know what was being discussed. Let us analyze that for a bit, also based on the information that I already have, so that we see exactly what's going on here and what significance it has, especially in relation to the forthcoming general elections, which we expect in August. Now, the whole issue here is recently we have heard that Gideon Moi, who's the son of, who's a senator and also the son of the former president, has reassured Jubilee that KANU party is going to vote for the president in the forthcoming elections. Now, this is very interesting because the information that I have is that a lot of what was discussed in that meeting was about Kalenjin support for the president in the forthcoming elections. Now, that is a bit strange because we all know that the Deputy President, William Ruto, is from the Kalenjin nation. So why would the First Lady travel all the way to Kabarak to have a meeting with Moi concerning the Kalenjin vote? Is it that there's a problem with the Ruto faction supporting Jubilee? That could be one possibility. The other possibility is that maybe Jubilee are not very sure, or rather the Jubilee faction TNA, which is Huru's party, is not very sure of Kalenjin support. Actually, according to the information I have, and those who have been following my Club 595 information, is that there appears to have been some sort of agreement, which was of course secret, between the president and his deputy, because we all know that this presidency was created by none other than William Ruto himself. And it appears that there has been a lot of pressure, naturally, from the TNA side that Uhuru does not honor this agreement, which would mean that he would step aside and allow his deputy president, the kingmaker, the person who got him there, Ruto, to stand for the presidency. As it is, those who have been following Club 595 already, we have seen that the president appears quite exhausted, tired in his duties, and really can't blame him. Being president of Kenya is not something which is very easy. But what should worry a lot of Kenyans, and what we should expect from now on going forward, is that anybody who had done his arithmetic concerning the voting patterns in the country should now go ahead and tear them up and wait for the dust to settle, and then come up with the new arithmetic. We all know Kenyans vote along tribal lines, but it is clear now that you have to tear up whatever you had, whatever neat arithmetic, and I'm talking about people like analysts, so-called analysts like Mutai Ngunyi. In the video I sent recently in Club 595, you saw the arithmetic he had done. All that has gone to zero, and I'll tell you why in a minute. There are a lot of realignments and there are a lot of changes concerning which side, which areas of the country are going to vote for. Let me just give you the first example that comes to mind, Meru. Now, during the tenure of former President Kibaki, Meru was always a done deal. Meru consistently voted for Moi Kibaki every time he stood for president. Now, it appears that possibly we all took this for granted, and this is not going to be the case this time, because what I hear from the ground and what I have heard from very reliable sources is that the Meru vote this time is definitely not going the Jubilee side. ODM people are warming up. They've warmed up to ODM, and it seems ODM are sure of that vote. Well, I wouldn't say those votes are in the bank yet, because the Meru people are extremely unpredictable. But one thing I can tell you for sure is that their votes are not going the Jubilee way. And there are quite a number of other areas, if you look countrywide, which will not go that way. Which means, because the Meru vote is very sizable, which means that we all have to go back to the drawing boards. The votes are not going to go precisely the way this is significant, because every party, every side of the political divide sits down to do this arithmetic. And it means that both sides have to go back to the drawing board. And by this I also mean the NASA coalition. Because the fact that, and this is very important, the fact that these votes have left Jubilee is no guarantee that they're going into NASA way. What am I saying? I'm saying that you do not expect, for example, like let's just take a small hypothetical example. Let us assume that Rift Valley, there's a problem. That my information is correct, that the meeting with the First Lady was, with the former First Lady and former President Moi, was in a bid to tie up and to get Kalenjin votes without William Ruto. Now let's assume that that information is correct. What do you think William Ruto is going to do? Do you think he's going to sit and relax and let things be as they are? I don't think so. I think he will go back to the drawing boards as well and try and form another possible third alliance, which would take votes from both Jubilee and NASA. Now, this is the fascinating issue that is now unfolding in our politics. Before it was, cut and dry, but it appears that what has happened is that now every single community from every side of the republic, or rather not every, but many, are asking themselves the questions: what is the current what is the current situation benefiting us? What is the current status quo benefiting us? Can we benefit more by looking for alternative leadership? That's what everybody is asking. And there are a lot of alignments and realignments and so on. Bottom line, the way I see, from where I sit, the way I see things now, is that at least Rift Valley may be a split vote. Maybe a split vote, which would be interesting, because Rift Valley have never been a split vote in the history of Kenya voting. Rift Valley always vote. I've always managed in most general elections to vote as a bloc. But, taking the rivalry which has been between Gideon Moi and William Ruto, it seems that what is going to happen now is that this vote somehow is going to be split, in that Moi has his supporters, the younger Moi has his supporters, and of course with his father, and Ruto has his supporters. Of course, there are those who will argue that Ruto's supporters are more, but that is not entirely true. The Kalenjin politics is extremely complex, and I foresee a situation whereby, if the information I have is true, for the first time this community will be faced with nothing less than confusion. Because it is, I don't think it's going to be that clear cut and dry. Of course, it's very difficult to predict what is going to happen, but maybe the next question we need to tackle and ask ourselves is: what happened? What happened to the sure Ruto votes, which the Jubilee coalition was sure of? All these developments must sound very strange and sudden for a lot of people, and to be honest, I feel the same. It just complicates a lot of things. It complicates our forthcoming elections, but I think what we need to do is analyze and see what to expect. Did I mention that maybe I omitted to mention that there have been utterances by Senator Mukomen, or is it Makomen, to the effect that there should be respect. He actually said State House operatives should respect the Deputy President. which is a very strange statement coming this late in the hour, when both sides should be uniting and, for the re-election bid. But I think this just adds, this is like more evidence to suggest that all is not well with the two main partners in Jubilee. Now, of course, that means it's not really the end. When you're in politics, there are always possibilities, and of course, there are a lot of the things which Jubilee can do to repair the situation. All is not lost, because, as they say, it is not over until the fat lady sings. But the situation is not good at all for Jubilee. Going forward, I think what we need to do is look at the possibility. One very interesting possibility, maybe I should mention, I almost omitted, is assuming that our theory, because right now it's just a theory, assuming our theory that a third major force will be introduced into the ballot and that it will no longer be a two-horse race. What would be the purpose of that? Now remember that the new constitution has a clause controversial, and it was very controversial in the last elections, and this is the 50+1 rule, meaning that the winning presidential candidate must gather 50% of the votes plus one. Now all a third force would need to do is to ensure that they're number two. So, for example, assuming Ruto would be that third force, all he has to do, he does not even have to win the first round, because I think it is all agreed generally that in a proper fair election in Kenya, winning this contest in round one is a very tall order. So that would mean that all you would need to do is to ensure that he's number two. And once he ensures he's number two, you then realign, reorganize, re-strategize, refocus for the second round. And of course, it is very easy for somebody who comes second. It has happened all over the world in very many cases. Maybe the one which comes to mind immediately is Liberia, where in the last elections, the lady who finally won the elections was second in the first round, but when there was the runoff, she won. So this is actually what we can expect to happen. Not expect to happen. This is these are theories we can look at. I think if we manage to stay peaceful, it is not a bad idea to have a runoff at all. I think a runoff forces many more groupings. I think a runoff may water down slightly the tribal factor, because people need to unite. People need at least to fall on one side of the political divide. So that's what really the situation is. I think we need to keep a close eye. Personally, I'm keeping a very close eye on your behalf to see what happens between now and as we had, especially the next 2 months. Expect a lot of events, expect a lot of shocks, expect a lot of realignments as we go into the final stretch for the general elections. It has been said, I think, not only by me but by many other analysts, that this is going to be the most difficult election Kenya has ever faced, the most complex, the most interesting elections we've ever faced. I think we should all keep on praying for our country, that in all these happenings, in all these ongoing developments, that at least we remain peaceful, because at the end of the day, that's really the most important thing. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you very much for giving me your time. I will try and improve the quality of these recordings going forward. I will try and make them because I'm new at this, so where I failed, where you feel that maybe the quality was not good, maybe I was stammering, maybe I was saying too many times, whatever, I will try and improve on this, because I think this is an effective way to get the message across. Sometimes people are exhausted, reading becomes an issue, and sometimes maybe listening is better you're able to collect your thoughts, you're able to absorb information in a better way. Because my aim here is always to make things better for you as you analyze the situation. Because I'm your servant, I'm trying to give you the best possible quality of service that I can be able to manage. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great day. So until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha. All the best, guys. Bye.